Hello and welcome to Aging Insights. I'm Kathy Rowe, Executive Director of New Jersey Advocates for Aging Well, and today we're speaking with Kelly Bonaventri. Kelly is the Assistant Director of Community Services at the New Jersey Sharing Network, and she's going to tell us today about the important work that they do here in New Jersey. Kelly, welcome. We're glad to have you here today.
Good morning, Kathy, and thank you for having us. We are so thankful for the opportunity. Organ donation is something that is near and dear to my heart, that I'm very passionate about, and something that the public really needs to be educated about. So we really treasure this opportunity, and thank you for this opportunity to share the information with your viewers.
So let's start by telling us more about your organization.
Sure. So New Jersey Sharing Network is the federally designated organ procurement organization for the state of New Jersey through Camden County. We
Okay.
work with all of our hospital partners in our service area. We have 54 hospitals and 6 transplant centers, and we are charged with facilitating and managing all aspects of deceased organ and tissue donation.
Mhm.
We work very, very closely with our hospitals to make the gift possible.
Mhm.
The gift is very, very rare. We have over 100,000 people waiting in the United States for a life-saving transplant, and 4,000 people waiting right here in New Jersey. And unfortunately, we lose 17 people a day while waiting throughout the United States, which is really something that motivates us and drives us in our work. The potential for organ donation is very rare. So we have 100,000 people waiting, and less than 1% of all deaths result in someone dying in the manner in which they are able to be an organ donor.
Oh,
If
wow.
somebody does not pass away in a hospital on a ventilator, they are an automatic rule out for organ donation.
Okay.
So even if someone's registered and they choose and they want to give the gift of donation, if they don't pass in that manner in a hospital on a ventilator, they are not eligible. They're not medically suitable. And that is simply because the organs need to be perfused, consistently perfused with the right amount of oxygen to make sure that they're healthy enough to be transplanted.
Okay.
So if somebody doesn't pass in a hospital on a vent, they are not eligible to be to an organ donor, but they can be a tissue donor. And tissue are beautiful, beautiful gifts.
Hmm.
Tissue includes the gift of sight through giving corneas, the gift of skin grafts, bone grafts, saphenous veins, and tendons.
Hmm.
And you do not need to pass away in a hospital on a ventilator to be a tissue donor. One tissue donor can save 8 lives, and one organ donor can save 8 lives, and one tissue donor can enhance the lives of over 75 people.
I think that most people are familiar with organ donation, but you're also talking about tissue donation, and things have changed a lot over the last 20 years. So, can you elaborate a little bit more on what other tissue donations can be used? I know I had one a few years ago. I tore my ACL and I had a ligament graft, which I didn't even know was possible. I thought it was going to be, plastic or something artificial put in. And I had a great description of it, how it happened, and how to thank the donor's family. So, can you talk about these changes and what it's really like today?
Sure. So I am not on our clinical side. I am on more on our public education and communication side, but we obviously are aware of the advancements that happen. I can't give you that much technical information,
Okay.
but the advancements and I not to correct you, but you would be surprised at how many people know nothing about organ
Mhm.
donation.
Oh, okay.
Yes, so that's why these types of programs are so meaningful for us to be able to have that opportunity to reach the public. There are so many people that know nothing about donation. You know what? If you think about it, it's an end of life decision,
It is.
and people don't want to make end of life decisions.
Right,
It's not
right.
something they feel comfortable talking about. So they rather not talk about it, not make the decision, not have the conversation, and not get educated to make the decision.
Hmm. We
And
see
then on,
that in a
yeah.
lot, I'm sorry, we see that in a lot of areas when we talk about end of life planning, palliative care, hospice care. It's a very challenging conversation to have with your family, and it's a difficult decision to make. So what are some of the guidance or ways that people can have this discussion, especially if they didn't plan ahead and they're making it like in an emergency or end of life moment?
So we tell people, like, that's what I said, to get educated beforehand so you know. And in addition to people not having knowledge, there are also a lot of many myths and misconceptions
Oh,
about
really?
organ donation.
Okay.
What we hear consistently almost every day in our programming is that people think if they're a registered organ donor, the hospital's not going to save their life because they just want to recover their organs. And nothing could be further from the truth when we just spoke about somebody has to pass away in a hospital on a ventilator in order to give the gift.
Mhm.
So it's really contradictory, right? You can't,
Right.
it doesn't happen. It's not something the hospital is not aware of if whether somebody wants is a registered organ donor or not. It is
Okay.
only the organ procurement organization that has that information. And we work very, very closely with our hospitals to make donation happen. It just simply doesn't happen without our hospital partners. They play a vital role in the process in helping us to facilitate the gift. We are the ones, it's the organ procurement organization that determines medical suitability.
Okay.
And this speaks to that myths and misconception. There's a very defined line between the hospital's role in donation and the organ procurement's role in donation. And that really is simply to make sure that there is no conflict of interest, that
Hmm.
the hospital doesn't know whether somebody's registered or not. The hospital is not the one that's determining if that patient is medically suitable to give the gift. It
Okay.
is the sharing network
Okay.
that has that responsibility. And the hospital doesn't facilitate the process and they don't have the conversation with the family. It's the
Oh,
sharing
okay.
network staff that comes on site, determines medical suitability. And then if that patient is suitable and they are progressing, toward end of life, they have either been declared brain dead or the family has decided to remove them from end of life support. That and only then does the sharing network have the conversation and offer the opportunity to the family. Or if the patient is registered, we share that information with the family that their loved one already made this beautiful, selfless, courageous decision to give these amazing life saving gifts. And we hope and pray that the family is aware of their loved one's wishes. So when we say have that conversation with your family, we really stress the fact just let them know what your wishes are, whether it's yes
Right.
or no.
Right.
Of course, we would like everybody to be registered because that'll help us to save more lives,
Hmm.
but we respect people's individual decisions. And what we really think is so important is for the family to know what their loved one wants. So, at
Right.
the darkest moment in their life, in the process of losing their loved one, on top of that, now they're not faced with making a decision that they're not sure of. And
Right.
instead, they are put in a position to honor their loved one's dying wish and their dying decision. That this was their last wish and their last decision is that they wanted to be an organ and tissue donor. So we just say, yeah, simply have the conversation.
Right. So, how are we doing in New Jersey? How does New Jersey compare to other states in terms of the number of transplants, donors? Are we behind? Are we ahead?
No, actually, we are there are 56 organ procurement organizations across the country.
Hmm.
We all work together to facilitate the gift. We don't compete for organs. Obviously, there's not enough organs to go around to begin with. So we're going to share to make sure that we can save as many lives as possible and that the gift goes to the person who is the best possible match.
Hmm.
And sometimes that person just doesn't live in the same state as the donor. So
Okay.
we all work together. So there are 56 organ procurement organizations throughout the country. And I'm very happy and proud to share that New Jersey Sharing Network is among the leading organ procurement organizations in the country. We have had 6 consecutive years of record growth where we've had more organ donors and
Hmm.
more lives saved.
Hmm.
Past year, we had 297 organ donors, which
Wow.
resulted in 743 organs being transplanted, which means
Wow.
saving more lives than ever before. However, at the Sharing Network, we never ever lose sight of the fact that for every life that has been saved, a life has been lost.
Hmm.
And that life was very, very special. And that life was somebody's mother, somebody's father, somebody's brother, someone's sister, someone's best friend, someone's husband, someone's wife. That was a
Right.
person that gave this beautiful gift. So we
Mhm.
honor our donors at the highest level possible. and we support our donor families before, during, and after the donation process. One of the first things we do to honor our donors is at the hospital where they have passed and are going to become a donor. We have a flag raising ceremony at the hospital's flagpole. We have a Sharing Network flag that the family is invited to sign and write messages on to their loved one. And we will raise that flag at the hospital's flagpole. We will have a ceremony. Family is allowed to invite as few or as many people as they want. If they have a faith-based leader that they would like to be there to help facilitate the ceremony. If not, we will work with the hospital to have pastoral care there. They can have the hospital healthcare team comes out to the flagpole. And we raise that flag and it flies for 24 hours to signify that there is an organ donation happening at that hospital while that flag is flying. The flag comes down after 24 hours and it gets given to the family. Something as simple as that really means so much to our families that we are honoring that gift. We're honoring their loved one. And then the next thing that we do is every single organ and tissue donor's last name and first name and last initial get engraved on our donor remembrance panels throughout our building. We have a 45,000 square foot facility here in New Providence, and it truly is a living, breathing memorial to our donors. It is a place that is filled with a lot of love and a lot of caring. And you get that sense when you walk through these walls and you see all those names on the walls. Our families are then invited at the year after their loved ones have passed to come in for a special program that we do, and they get to see their loved one's name on the wall, take a photo. We continue to honor our donors. Our families are invited to create quilt squares to honor their loved ones, and they are incorporated into these beautiful tapestries that are done by volunteers, and they are throughout our entire building. Our families can request their loved one's quilt for a special celebration, a birthday, an anniversary. We had a donor daughter ask for her dad's quilt to be displayed at her wedding. We take them out into our hospitals, and our families just don't want their loved ones to be forgotten.
Yeah. These are all beautiful, beautiful
Mhm.
examples. And, I think part of the myth is this is not what we see on TV with a doctor making decisions. This is such a long-term relationship you have with the families.
Yes. Some of our families, donor families, have been with us over 20 years. They become our board members, they become our committee chairs, they become our most dedicated and loyal volunteers. They become part of our Sharing Network family. It's the beautiful side of donation that the public doesn't really get to see. And it's not something like you said that you see on TV. It's nothing could be further from the truth. Without donation, all our families have is a horrible loss to mourn.
Yeah.
They've
Yeah.
lost a life.
Mhm.
With donation, they have now these beautiful lives to celebrate. Instead of just that horrible loss, they have something positive to hold on to. They have us as the Sharing Network and become part of our family. We support them, as I said, before the process, during, and after. We offer grief support workshops for our families. We have individual counseling for our families. We have an entire department, our Family Services Department, which help to meet the needs of our donor families.
Wow.
They receive beautiful expressions of our gratitude. On the 2-year anniversary of their loved one's passing, we have a beautiful program called Wrapped in Love, where
Mhm.
we have our volunteers that knit and crochet, make these beautiful shawls and lap blankets that we send on the 2-year anniversary to the family with a note telling them that we're here, we're still continuing to honor their loved one and the gifts that they gave, and to please wrap themselves in the love that we're sending them.
Oh, that is absolutely beautiful.
It is a very supportive relationship,
Mhm.
and it's something that is it's not just important to the recipient, right? The recipient, that
Right.
benefit is obvious. They're alive, they're leading these beautiful, healthy lives. Far
Mhm.
less obvious, but equally as impactful, is the benefit that donation does have on our donor families.
Yeah. Wow. So one of the things that I was wondering, since New Jersey is such a diverse state, I have heard that in different communities, there's more or less reluctance to decide to donate. What do you see with cultural differences or religious differences? Are there certain groups more hesitant or that have more concerns that affect their decision?
Absolutely. And that is something that my department, my public education team and communication team works very, very hard at addressing. It
Hmm.
is our minority communities that have a built-in mistrust,
Hmm.
historical mistrust of the medical system. So we have that to overcome. And then again, we have these misconceptions about what the donation process is like. So we actually concentrate our efforts, and we've had very, very effective campaigns where we've gone out into our minority communities with the campaign that is literally specifically to address those needs and those concerns and to dispel those myths and misconceptions. The campaign was called Every Community Needs Heroes. And we were very, very happy and proud to say that we were received the NJ Biz Education Award for that particular campaign. And it's
Hmm.
addressed not only just to educate that minority community, who literally have the highest donor, they have the lowest donor designation rate, but they make up over 60% of the wait list.
Oh,
So
wow.
that's a very important community for us to reach.
Hmm.
So, in addition to going out and speaking at different events within the community, we will, any place that we get invited or can find a table to be at to give our information, we will attend. And then
Hmm.
we also host what we call Live Healthy and Move events, where we go into the communities and we give back to the community, not just with our information, but we invite other vendors to come. We invite our hospital partners to come and do health screenings.
Oh,
Um, we have a community garden that is there that gives out fresh fruit and vegetables. We have different opportunities to demonstrate how exercise can be fun. We have a Zumba instructor. We have a double Dutch team that comes. We want people to live healthy and move so that hopefully that will prevent them from ever getting on the wait list and from needing a transplant.
true, true.
So we're addressing the equation from both sides, giving them the education they need
Hmm.
if they have to make that decision, and then also hopefully giving them some tools where they will not need to be on the wait list for a transplant.
Now, since we focus on aging, and issues for older people, are there actually age limits on who can donate? For example, is somebody ever too old to donate?
Great question, and especially for your audience. So thank you for asking that. Actually, no. Medical suitability is determined at the time of someone's passing.
Okay.
And as we addressed previously, there are medical advancements that happen every day.
Hmm.
So somebody that might not have been able to be a donor 20 years ago because of certain medical conditions now is eligible to be
Okay.
a donor. So that medical suitability gets determined at the time of death so that you can have a much older person who lived a very healthy lifestyle and took
Hmm.
very, very good care of their bodies, and they may have pristine organs that are totally healthy enough to be transplanted. You can have a much younger person who maybe didn't take as good a care of themselves or had some type of a chronic illness where
Hmm.
they're not eligible to be a donor. To my knowledge, the oldest donor in the United States was 92 years old.
Wow.
I know that's very rare, but again, just demonstrating the fact that there are no age limits. And it's something that people shouldn't rule themselves out for. It
Hmm.
is something that they should understand they have the opportunity to be a donor until they are deemed to be not medically suitable. And that
Hmm.
determination is made at the time of death by the organ procurement organization, by the
Hmm.
sharing network staff.
Right. That's great. So it has nothing to do with age, and age is not a disqualifier or a cutoff.
I mean, the older you get, the chances are probably less that you're going to be
Right.
healthy enough to be a donor, but the opportunity is always there until the end.
Okay. So that's something that people should really talk about when they, in their advanced care directives,
Mhm.
when they're talking to their doctors and their family about what their wishes are. Um, so if someone decided that they want to get more information or be an organ or tissue donor, how do they start the process and who do they talk to?
So we have a beautiful website that we encourage people to go to, njsharingnetwork.org. We have a Q&A whole section where people can get answers to information. And then we also have a registry page. They can register right on our website, or they can register on their iPhone, on the health app on their iPhone, or most people are more familiar with registering at the motor vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
That is still obviously an option, but we tell people, even if they're registered at motor vehicle, to also register on the online registry, because that is more of a national database
Okay.
that is more readily accessible and more easy for us as an organ procurement organization to access. So we tell people, register wherever, but if you register at one, you can still register at the other.
Okay. And Kelly, do you have any events coming up soon that we can share with our listeners and viewers?
Yes, we do. When we talk about how the importance of what donation means to our families, we have two beautiful 5K celebrations of life,
Mm-hmm.
which are a large fundraising opportunity for our foundation. We have a foundation that is attached to the Sharing Network that raises money to support the programs that we do, family
Mm-hmm.
support, and our public education efforts, and our clinical advancement programs. So that money gets put to very, very good use. But the program itself, the event itself, is something that is so, so special. We host one this year. It will be May 17th in Ocean Grove.
Mm-hmm.
And then here at our headquarters in New Providence on June 8th, we have a second event because our service area is so large.
Mm-hmm.
And we have close to 10,000 people between the two events that come to celebrate.
Wow.
They are beautiful. We have music, we have a program, we have food trucks, we have a kiddie village. It is a USTA certified race if we have serious runners that want to go out earlier before the walk starts. But it is such a celebration where our donor families come to honor their loved ones who have given the gift. Our recipients come to honor the gifts that they've received. Our hospital partners are here. Our community partners join us. We have over 300 volunteers that we need to help make the event possible. And in addition to raising that money, it's an event that our families look forward to each and every year. I had one family who shared that they had traveled all the way from California to be with us for a 5K. And when I started the conversation with them, they shared that it was their niece who had passed away 5 years prior, who'd become the donor, and that they may not make it to New Jersey for Christmas and they may not make it for Thanksgiving, but they'll never miss a 5K to honor their niece.
Oh, wow.
So that's the significance of that type of an event that we have.
Mhm.
And the public is invited, even if you just want to come and volunteer or be part of the day, or just walk throughout the community. We would love to have everybody join us and see it in person. And then in April, April is a national initiative called Donate Life Month. The entire month is dedicated to honoring donor heroes and raising awareness about organ and tissue donation. So we do a multitude of events throughout the entire month of April to promote donation and to honor our heroes. And those events are many and multiple, so they will all be on our website if people
Okay.
want to join us. We also invite people to volunteer with us. If anybody has time, we have a need. We will find the perfect fit for them. We have a little training program that we put them through, so they're equipped with the knowledge and information they need to go out in the public and talk about donation. And then they can find opportunities that are close to home for them. They can come to our headquarters, but we would love to have people volunteer with us as well.
Okay. Well, we will put all that information out there and hope we
Great.
can get more people to come to your events and volunteers. I want to thank you, Kelly. This has been so enlightening. I mean, I thought that I knew a lot, but I learned a lot from you today. And it really sounds like such a beautiful, supportive experience that you provide for people in what can be a very difficult, challenging time to find the good and the beauty in it.
Absolutely. It's in the process of losing a life, having the opportunity to save a life is something that is very unique and very special. So thank you for giving us the time to be here with you today to share all that information. We greatly appreciate it.
I want to thank Kelly for joining us today and for sharing this important information. You can see this and all episodes of Aging Insights on our website, www.njaaw.org/Aging Insights.